Welcome to the Times of India World Continents Week special webinar. I, Sana Fahim, am your host for today, and I extend a warm welcome to the panel of eminent doctors here. World Continents Week is a health campaign to raise awareness on incontinence-related issues. This year, it takes place from 21st to 27th June. During this week, the impact urinary incontinence can have on our lives will be highlighted, and those living with it will be encouraged to seek help so they no longer have to suffer in silence. This special webinar is a public awareness initiative in association with MSN Laboratories. I thank them for their support. I would like to remind the audience that we will have an open house at the end of this live session where they can ask questions. Kindly send in your questions in a short and crisp form and send it to us on FB Live. Now, let us know more about the troublesome bladder and how it can be treated. Let me welcome the incontinence specialists to join the movement, which is #NoMoreLeaks, to spread out the incontinence awareness among the general population. On our panel today, we have 5 eminent doctors. The first doctor is Dr. A.K. Malviya. Welcome, Dr. Malviya.
Thank you.
Dr. Malviya is a senior urologist who has more than 25 years experience in urology in PMCH Patna. He is also running his own clinic, the Healthcare Clinic in Rajendra Nagar, Patna. Next one on the panel is Dr. Amitabh Kumar Sinha. Welcome, Dr. Amitabh. He is director of Sheela Urology and Laparoscopy Center, SK Nagar, Patna. Dr. Amitabh has formerly worked in IGIMS Patna, Mahavir Cancer Sansthan Fulwari Sharif, and PMCH Patna. The next doctor we have is Dr. Rajesh Kumar Tiwari. Welcome, Dr. Tiwari. Dr. Tiwari is presently working as professor and head of Department of Urology at IGIMS Patna. Then we have Dr. Mohammad Shadab. Welcome, sir.
Thank you.
Welcome. He is consultant urologist in Advanced Multi-Speciality Hospital, Fulwari Sharif. He is also associated with NSMCH Beta as associate professor. The next doctor is Dr. Nitesh Kumar. He is working as a consultant urologist at Shri Kripa Urocare and Ford Hospital, Patna. He has special interest in functional urology. Welcome, Dr. Nitesh.
Thank you.
Thank you, sir. I extend a warm welcome to all of you on this live session or on urinary incontinence. Now, without further ado, we will start with the questions and the answers, which I would like to pose to the individual doctors, eminent panelists here. So my first question goes to Dr. Amitabh Kumar Sinha. Sir, Dr. Amitabh, this question is for you. Sir, tell us more about urinary incontinence. What exactly is this disorder, sir?
Urinary incontinence can be defined as the involuntary loss of the urine, और अलग टर्म्स में बोल सकते हैं कि जब हमें यूरिन जाने की, यूरिन पास करने की इच्छा नहीं है, उससे में भी यूरिन हमारा लीक हो जाता है विदाउट हमारे चाहे हुए. दिस इज यूरिनरी इनकॉन्टिनेंस. To know the pathophysiology of urinary incontinence, one has to understand the normal physiology of continence. Continence कैसे हमारा आता है? Urine is being formed by both kidneys. किडनी से वो 2 पाइप यूरेटरस के थ्रू हो करके ब्लैडर में स्टोर होता है. जब तक यूरिन ब्लैडर में स्टोर होता है, ब्लैडर एकदम रिलैक्स रहता है, so that the optimum amount of urine can be stored. और at the same time हमारे 2 स्फिंक्टर्स होते हैं जिसको हम लोग गेट कीपर कहते हैं, वो स्पाज में रहते हैं, क्लोज रहते हैं, जो यूरिन को लीक नहीं होने देते हैं. जब ऑप्टिमम अमाउंट ऑफ यूरिन कलेक्ट हो जाता है तो ब्रेन में सिग्नल जाता है यूरिन फुल होने का, तो हमें यूरिन की फीलिंग आती है. बट वी कैन कंट्रोल यूरिन टू सर्टेन एक्सटेंट. हम जब तक कंफर्टेबल प्लेस नहीं मिल जाता है, जब हम यूरिन पास करने जाते हैं, ब्लैडर कॉन्ट्रैक्ट करता है, ब्लैडर पेशाब की थैली सिकुड़ती है, उसमें प्रेशर जनरेट होता है, और उसी समय में जो स्फिंक्टर्स होते हैं जो ब्लैडर नेक पे और यूरेथ्रा में होते हैं वो रिलैक्स करते हैं, खुल जाते हैं, तो यूरिन स्मूथली यूरेथ्रा के थ्रू पास हो जाता है। बट इसमें ब्लैडर और अदर पेल्विक ऑर्गन्स जैसे यूट्रस है या रेक्टम, ये सब हमारे पेल्विस में, हमारे कमर के हड्डियों के बीच में हैंग करते हैं पेल्विक फ्लोर मसल्स के थ्रू। पेल्विक फ्लोर मसल्स जो होते हैं उनको सपोर्ट करते हैं। जब हमारे पेट के अंदर किसी वजह से प्रेशर राइज होता है, लाइक हम खांसे, छींकें या जोर से हंसते हैं, तो ये राइज इन इंट्रा एब्डोमिनल प्रेशर जो है उसको पेल्विक फ्लोर मसल्स सस्टेन कर लेते हैं, उनको ब्लैडर पे नहीं जाने देते हैं। अगर ये मसल्स का वीकनेस हो जाता है तो पेशेंट्स को चेंज ऑफ पोजीशन से या खांसने छींकने से भी यूरिन लीक हो जाता है, जिसको स्ट्रेस इनकॉन्टिनेंस कहते हैं। जब तक ब्लैडर फिल होता रहता है, जब तक यूरिन ब्लैडर में फिल होता रहता है, ब्लैडर रिलैक्स रहता है, बट फॉर सर्टेन रीजंस कभी कभी ब्लैडर में थोड़ा सा भी यूरिन आता है, 50-100 ml आता है, ब्लैडर अपने आप स्पाज्म कॉन्ट्रैक्ट करने लगता है और पेशेंट्स को अर्जेंसी आती है और उसको इनकॉन्टिनेंस होता है, जिसे हम लोग ओवर एक्टिव ब्लैडर कहते हैं। और नॉर्मली जब ब्लैडर कॉन्ट्रैक्ट करता है, पेशाब करने जब हम जाते हैं तो उसमें इतना प्रेशर होना चाहिए कि वो पूरे पेशाब को खाली कर सके। कभी कभी ब्लैडर इतना बड़ा हो जाता है या ब्लैडर मसल्स में वीकनेस हो जाती है जिसकी वजह से पूरा यूरिन खाली नहीं हो पाता है, यूरिन बचा रहता है, तो ग्रेजुअली वो यूरिन भरते भरते लीक करने लगता है, जिसको हम लोग ओवरफ्लो इनकॉन्टिनेंस कहते हैं। तो दिस इज जस्ट समरी ऑफ व्हाट इज यूरिनरी इनकॉन्टिनेंस।
Thank you so much, Dr. Amitabh. Even, it was very easy for me also to understand the whole process, how you started with explaining continence first and foremost, and then how a malfunction or what goes wrong to cause different types of incontinence. So very insightful, sir. Thank you. My next question would go to Dr. A.K. Malviya, sir. Yes. So, Dr. Malviya, what are the possible reasons or causes exactly which cause? I'm assuming there are several causes that can actually give rise to urinary incontinence. So, what are those causes, sir?
Madam, thing is very simple. Actually, we are all busy in nowadays pursuit. We have got no time for our body. We are not caring what is happening to our, and this urinary incontinence is always following you. So once you are weak, you are obese, you are not getting proper exercise, not doing pelvic floor muscle exercise, you are sure to develop it. The tragedy is that this disorder is sometimes congenital. So what happens, I remember a case of young girl, she was 8 years old, she was leaking since her birth, and then she was operated, and now she has got baby in her lap. So what happened, that was she was suffering with ectopic ureter. भगवान के घर से ही उनका यूरेटर का जो ओपनिंग था नीचे खुल रहा था। स्फिंक्टर मैकेनिज्म के बाद में, जो आप बहुत बढ़िया बताए, स्फिंक्टर के बाद कोई कंट्रोल नहीं, पेशाब छूते रहता। अब किसी का पेशाब छूते थे, उससे वर्ष कुछ नहीं हो सकता। सिवाज ऑपरेटेड नाउ सिवा। तो इन कंजाइटल ग्रुप, तो ये जन्म से भी आ सकता है। देयर इज इक्टोपिया वेसाइटी, देयर इज एपिस्पेडियस, severe degree of epispadias. In these cases, you find that they are leaking since birth. लेकिन इसके बाद हम लोग देखते हैं मेल और फीमेल दो वैरायटी। फीमेल को जो प्रॉब्लम है, उनको टॉलरेंस ज़्यादा है, ज़्यादा कुछ करती हैं, वो जननी भी हैं, लेकिन उन्हें बहुत सारा प्रॉब्लम जो है अपने साथ झेलना पड़ता है। उनके साथ हम लोग देखते हैं कि जो इनकॉन्टिनेंस है, दे आर अबाउट 4 times मोर कॉमन इन फीमेल, 4 times। सो उनकी बनावट से, उनका हार्मोनल स्ट्रक्चर से, चाइल्ड बर्थ हो, प्रेगनेंसी हो और सब चीज हो, इसके चलते मेनोपॉजल हो, वो लोग ज्यादा सफर करते हैं। तो एक एटियोलॉजी कनाइटल है। दूसरा जो होता है, हम लोग देखते हैं कभी कभी वी क्रिएटिव एट्रोजेनिक। हम लोग एज ए टीचर जब पढ़ाते हैं, कहते हैं कि भाई प्रोस्टेट का अगर ऑपरेशन करो तो कम काटो, वो अच्छा है, फिर काट लेंगे, लेकिन इतना नहीं काट दो कि उसका स्फिंक्टर ही कट जाए। अगर स्फिंक्टर कट गया तो रेयर है, तो टोटल लॉस, हर हमेशा पेशाब ट्रेन, यू विल बर्न योर फिंगर, फिर वो क्या अगल बगल कोई आदमी नहीं आया। सो वी ऑल्सो क्रिएटेड दैट इज समटाइम्स इट इज एट्रोजेनिक, इफ यू कट द स्फिंक्टर दैट कैन हैपन। Another thing is that there are so many obstructed liver, neglected liver. हमारे पार्ट्स में अभी भी जानकारी नहीं है कहाँ डिलीवरी कराना है, कैसे कराना है. Obstructed liver हुआ, ध्यान नहीं दिया गया, then there is injury to the blood. You develop hypovaginal fistula, you develop retrovaginal fistula. Sometimes हमेशा subjective to hysterectomy की सर्जन थोड़ा ध्यान नहीं दिया, ureter कर गया, retrovaginal fistula. So these fistula are all created. Similarly, like trauma, कहीं चोट लग गया कहीं pelvic road traffic accident, then you can die. Another particular thing that Amitabh has just discussed is the overactive bladder. Sometimes bladder is very active. So what happens to those times, we should not contract. And when contract, the sphincter is not able to hold it because the sphincter is always in tonic contraction. So due to weakness, it relaxes at that time. So there's leakage. Nowadays, this overactive bladder has become a big problem to our population. Last, आप देखेंगे जो उम्र बढ़ता है, हमारे लोगों के पास आते हैं, औरत ज्यादा, मर्द भी आते हैं. मालूम होता कहेंगे डॉक्टर साहब क्या करें, बड़ा लाज लगता है. वाइफ के साथ सोना छोड़ दिए, भाई क्या हो गया, रात में बिछावन गीला जाता, वाइफ उठ जाती. तो भाई कभी जांच करें, नहीं डॉक्टर साहब कहाँ जांच कराएं. जांच कराते हैं तो दैट इज ओवरफ्लो, उनका प्रोस्टेट बढ़ा, किसी को कैंसर प्रोस्टेट है, यंग लड़का है. So many problems is that is called overflow incontinence. इस कारण से ये. और आगे जाना चाहें कि क्या होता है भाई, तो कभी कभी जो होता है किसी किसी को बीमारी है, urinary tract infection can cause this incontinence. Another, if you are constipated, that can cause also. जब chronic constipation में तब हो सकता है. इसके बाद है कुछ बीमारियां हैं जैसे कि इंटरस्टिशियल सिस्टाइटिस है, ट्यूबरकुलोसिस है, कार्सिनोमा है, कार्सिनोमा सिकुलर बोलते हैं, ये सब में भी इनकॉन्टिनेंस. सो देयर आर ए लॉन्ग लिस्ट ऑफ डिफरेंट कॉजेज व्हिच कॉजेज दिस इनकॉन्टिनेंस. इसलिए मेन है कि अगर हम काम करेंगे समाज में अपने से सब तो अपने पर ध्यान देंगे. अगर आप अपना कुछ एक्सरसाइज नहीं करते, अपने पर ध्यान नहीं देते, फिट नहीं रहते, यू आर बाउंड टू डेवलप. तो मैं 60 साल के बाद औरत करीब 40% में तो ये प्रॉब्लम हो जाता है. कारण उनकी बनावट ही ऐसी 4 सेंटीमीटर का होता है, सपोर्ट कम है. दूसरा धीरे धीरे लेफ्ट होती है, इलाज से बोलती नहीं, शुरू हो गया बीमारी, चुपचाप छिपाए हुए, तभी बोली जब पेशाब रुक गया, पेशाब छूने लगा तब मालूम होता था. ये सब वजह है. अवेयरनेस
पहले ही टैकल करना इज वेरी इंपॉर्टेंट हियर, आई थिंक, जैसा आप बोल रहे हैं. एग्जैक्टली सर. एंड आपने जो बहुत सारे इनफैक्ट रीजंस बताए सर, मैं तो आई डिड नॉट नो सो मेनी रीजंस. थैंक यू सो मच दैट आप बता रहे हैं अपने केस से ही कि कंजेनाइटल हो सकता है, ड्यू टू लाइफस्टाइल हो सकता है, ओबेसिटी की वजह से. जी. एंड आई दिस इज समथिंग वेरी न्यू टू मी आल्सो टू नो कि इट इज 4 times more common in females than males. Like you were explaining, sir. Thank you so much. Thank you so much for that answer, sir. I would just request Dr. Malviya if you can just mute yourself for some time right now. So I'll just pose my next question. And thank you so much for that answer. Was very insightful for me personally as well, and I'm sure for the audience as well, sir.
Thank you.
So my next question goes to Dr. Rajesh Kumar Tiwari, sir.
He's Rajesh Tiwari. 1 month I need correction. He's my brother. He is my friend. So correct it. Rajesh Tiwari. He's not.
Okay, Rajesh Tiwari. I am so sorry, sir. So my next question is for Dr. Rajesh Tiwari. And sir, already we've heard from these two doctors about some of the different types of incontinences. Like I just heard the term stress incontinence and congenital incontinence, you know, different types of continences. So I would like you to throw some more light on what are the different types of urinary incontinence and which ones are the most common ones, Dr. Rajesh.
Yes, thank you, Sana.
Welcome.
With the discussions going on, I was also hearing, and we have also understood that now clearly that incontinence is constant dribbling of urine or leakage of urine without knowledge, leading to soiling of undergarments or cloths. And Dr. Amitabh has nicely discussed the mechanism, how there is a abnormal functioning of bladder or in sphincter. That is the main reason behind the incontinence. And the function of bladder and sphincter is coordinated by our nervous system. All the nerves coming out of the spinal cord, especially the sacral nerves rising from the sacral bone, near the sacral bone, and the brain, we have got centers which control the functioning of the maturation cycle, so that the continence, a man or female, voids urine at regular intervals with good control, with good stream. Normally, one voids 6 to 8 times a day, and one time voiding in night time voiding is taken as normal. More than one is taken as abnormal. Now coming to the types, we have several types in our practice. We first classify the type of incontinence and then do the appropriate workup to reach at the diagnosis and the treatment, start the treatment. So first is total incontinence. As the word suggests, it means the urine leaks all the 24 hours continuously. And without the individual's knowledge, of course. And the common causes, as Dr. Malviya has discussed, the congenital cause is ectopic ureter, epispadias. In epispadias, there is sphincteric weakness. There is fistula, post-operative fistula, BVF, vesicovaginal fistula, uretrovaginal fistula, urethrovaginal fistula. There is an abnormal communication develops between bladder, urethra, ureter, and the reproductive part of the females, or rectum. Then that leads to urinary fistula and incontinence. And next type is overflow incontinence. As the Dr. Amitabh explained, it usually seen in the chronic retention of urine. What happens in chronic retention? That because of obstruction, some obstruction in the outflow tract of the urinary tract, there is some obstruction which doesn't allow the urine to come out completely. So there is some amount of bladder, urine always remains in the urinary bladder, even after voiding. So whenever a small amount gets stored over that urine present already in the bladder contracts and the urine comes out. So it is usually seen in the males in the prostatic obstruction, and is usually seen in the night time. When the patient sleeps, then it is a common phenomenon in chronic retention with overflow incontinence. The third type is urge incontinence. Here, bladder is at fault. Normally, bladder stores 300 to 400 ml of urine, and then we feel the sensation. And when we get appropriate place, there's nearby washroom, and we have time appropriate, we are free, then we go to the bathroom and pass the urine at our will. But what happens in urge incontinence, when we feel the urge, it is irresistible. We can't abort it. The sensation to pass urine, we can't hold urine further. And sometimes while going to washroom, some drops of urine comes out, and this is also a type of incontinence, which is known as urge incontinence. It is most commonly seen in females, but males can also suffer from it, especially over the years of 50 who have prostatic
Basically,
obstruction.
urge incontinence, sir, I would just interrupt you here. Basically, we can't control the urge to pass.
Yes, the fault lies with the bladder.
Okay.
Here, fault lies with the bladder. And another type is stress incontinence, which we were mentioning.
Yes.
It is usually seen in the females while doing any effort, such as coughing, sneezing, or lifting heavy weight, some amount of urine comes out and wets the undergarments. It is because of the rise in the intra-abdominal pressure, because while doing these works, abdominal muscles contract and intra-abdominal pressure rises. And normally, when this pressure rises, the pelvic floor muscles should contract. And with the help of external sphincter, the urine shall not leak out. But when with the aging or in the menopausal state, when the estrogen deficiency occurs, and because of the poor management during childbirth, during obstetric care, so there are many factors: obesity, diabetes. These are adverse factors for stress incontinence. They make the situation worse. So when they cough, such females coughs, laughs, there some amount of urine leaks out, and it is because of stress. The stress which the pelvic floor muscles cannot tolerate, cannot balance, and so the urine leaks out.
Right.
So it is known as stress incontinence. So here there is the failure of sphincters, the door closing mechanism, as mentioned by Dr. Mehta.
Mhm.
So if some females or some persons may have both stress incontinence as well as urge incontinence. So
Right.
then we call it as mixed urinary incontinence. And
Okay.
in such patients, both the incontinence needs treatment for full
Right.
correction. Besides these types of incontinence, there are some rare types of incontinence, such as giggle incontinence. It is seen in young girls. When they laugh, they dribble out.
Okay.
In some
So-
females, it has been mentioned that there is sexual incontinence when urine leaks out during intercourse. So they also suffer. Their sexual life is affected. So they also need treatment and workup. So these are the broadly the types of incontinence which I tried to explain.
Thank you, sir. Thank you, Dr. Rajesh Tiwari. In fact, it was very informative for me to know about total incontinence, mixed incontinence, stress incontinence, all the various types of common and uncommon incontinences. And like you've been pointing out, especially in the uncommon type or rare types of incontinences, that, you know, giggle incontinence or sexual incontinence, it is mostly happening with females. So we'll come to that topic again and ask my next question to Dr. Mohammed Shadab on that note. Dr. Rajesh, I will just request you to mute yourself, and thank you. Thank you for that very elaborate, very well put reply. I'm sure the audience have learned a lot from that reply. Thank you, sir. So Dr. Shadab, this is for you, because we have been coming back, all the doctors have been coming back to one singular point, is that urinary incontinence is much more common in women than in men, women of all age groups for that matter, especially for elderly, but even in younger girls. So why does urinary incontinence affect more women than men? I mean, Dr. Malviya has already given a shorter reason to that, but I would just like you to elaborate a bit more on that. That why does it affect more women than men, Dr. Shadab?
Thank you, Ms. Sana, for this wonderful question. There are certain basic physiological and anatomical differences between the body of male and a female. We must understand that to know that urinary incontinence is 3 to 4 times more common in women than in men. So first and foremost thing is the reproductive events and things which happen in a woman. So these lead to more incontinence in women than in men. Things like pregnancy, parity, and cesarean section versus vaginal section. Then there are certain surgical procedures like hysterectomy, which lead to weakness of the pelvic floor muscles, leading to more incontinence in women than in men. And apart from that, the anatomical factor is that the female urethra is shorter than men, and female urethra is also so male urethra as compared to female urethra is more fixed. So female urethra, whenever there is anything like rise in intra-abdominal pressure, like chronic cough or constipation, or this leading to rise in intra-abdominal pressure, this lead to leakage of urine in women than in men. And there are certain other things like obesity, smoking, more caffeine, certain medications. These are the things which lead to incontinence in women than in men. So these are the things, basic differences between women and men. Why women have more incontinence than men.
Right. Thank you so much for that answer, Dr. Shadab. You've actually explained it very well. All the anatomical factors, reproductive health factors, physiological factors. So basically, it is more common in women than in men, as explained by you. Thank you for that answer. I would just request you to just put yourself on mute for some time there while I pose the next question to Dr. Nitesh. So Dr. Nitesh, my question to you is, what are the symptoms, maybe common or uncommon, of urinary incontinence for everyone, for that matter, for male or female, everyone? What are the symptoms?
The most common symptom or the basic symptom of urinary incontinence is leakage of urine. Dr. Rajesh sir has already explained it nicely about the types of incontinence and what happens when. Just would like to frame it in a different way. मैं हिंदी में बताना चाहता हूँ.
जी सर.
अब पेशाब निकल जाना यही एक सिम्टम है यूरिनरी इनकॉन्टिनेंस का. अब कब कब पेशाब निकल सकता है, जैसे महिलाओं को होता है या कुछ पुरुषों को होता है, मार्केट गए, घर आया, जब तक वो बाथरूम तक पहुंचते तब तक निकल गया, उसके लिए मार्केट नहीं जा रहे हैं, या बैठे हैं कुछ काम कर रहे हैं, बाथरूम जाने में देरी हुई तो उस समय जाते जाते पेशाब निकल गया. मतलब ऐसा अर्जेंसी है कि हम कंट्रोल नहीं कर पा रहे हैं, जल्दी जाना है और अगर देरी होगी तो पेशाब निकल गया. ये अर्ज इनकॉन्टिनेंस में होता है. कभी कभी हुआ कि बैठे हैं, कुछ भारी चीज उठाया, छींके, खांसे तो पेशाब निकल गया, कुछ बूंदे निकलती हैं, कभी कभी ज्यादा ही पेशाब निकल जाता है. जो अर्ज इनकॉन्टिनेंस में होता है, ओवर एक्टिव ब्लैडर्स में कभी कभी ब्लैडर इतना जोर से कॉन्ट्रैक्ट करता है कि पूरा ही पेशाब निकल सकता है, कभी कुछ बूंदे निकलती हैं. ये है. कुछ महिलाएं देखते हैं कि ऑपरेशन हुआ, सिजेरियन सेक्शन हुआ या कोई सर्जरीज हुई, उसके बाद कंटिन्यूअस पेशाब निकल रहा है, मगर वो शर्म के मारे 3 महीने 4 महीने बाद डॉक्टर से पास आते हैं, क्योंकि और हमेशा लीकेज होते रहता है. ये सिम्टम है. कुछ एक इक्टोपिक यूरेटर होता है जिसमें पेशाब, किडनी से जो नली आती है पेशाब की थैली में यूजुअली आनी चाहिए, वो पेशाब के रास्ते में आ जाती है. महिलाओं में अगर इक्टोपिक हुआ तब उसमें इनकॉन्टिनेंस होता है, पुरुषों में नहीं होता है. तो उसमें क्या होगा, कुछ कुछ बूंद पेशाब की टपकते रहेगी और बाद बीच बीच में आप नॉर्मली भी पेशाब कीजिएगा. अभी एक मैंने पेशेंट देखा, एक छोटी सी बच्ची है, कुछ टेंशन है, घर में कुछ प्रॉब्लम है, और उसने प्रेजेंट किया, वो अपने सिम्टम्स नहीं बता पा रही है मगर प्रेजेंट किया उसने यूरिनरी इनकॉन्टिनेंस करके. तो कुछ पहला केस मैंने देखा साइकेट्रिक सिम्टम्स के कारण भी हो सकता है, मगर यूजुअली यही है. अब इससे परेशानी क्या होती है, लोग बाहर जाना छोड़ देते हैं, कपड़ों से स्मेल आती है, बदबू आती है, लोग उनके पास बैठेंगे नहीं, सोशल लाइफ इफेक्ट होती है, पर्सनल और सेक्सुअल लाइफ सारी चीजें इफेक्ट होती है.
जी बिल्कुल डॉक्टर नितेश. So from what I understood आपके आंसर से कि वेरिंग डिग्री ऑफ यूरिनेशन हो सकता है, अनकंट्रोल्ड, किसी को थोड़ा हो सकता है, किसी को someone might be completely urinating without control, someone might be just dribbling. It can happen to anyone, like you were giving an example of a small child कि वो भी बता भी नहीं पा रही थी, but her predisposition was that only. So thank you so much Dr. Nitesh for that informative answer. So my next question is for Dr. Amitabh again. So what are the risk factors from like what I could gather from all of you here is that it's probably more common in, it's actually more common in females, but even age has to play a role in it. Does lifestyle also have any part in it? So just throw some light on the factors or risk factors that make you more predisposed to urinary incontinence. Dr. Amitabh sir.
Correctly said, Sana. Females में ये almost 3 to 4 times more common है than male, as Shadab elaborated nicely. But not only with the advancing age, if we talk about the male, with after age of 60, because of the prostate and other things, almost 60% of male they suffer some sort of incontinence. तो जैसे जैसे एज एडवांस होती है इनकॉन्टिनेंस के चांसेस बढ़ जाते हैं. फीमेल में बिकॉज ऑफ लैक ऑफ एस्ट्रोजन एंड बहुत सारी और इश्यूज रहती है उससे. तो फर्स्ट इज द मेल एंड फीमेल, सेकंड इज द एज, थर्ड इज एज यू सेड द डे टू डे एक्टिविटी, हाउ इज द लाइफस्टाइल. द पीपल जो बहुत ज्यादा बीवरेजेस, बहुत ज्यादा चाय, कॉफी, सॉफ्ट ड्रिंक्स या बहुत ज्यादा अल्कोहल यूज करते हैं, उनमें अर्जेंसी अर्ज इनकॉन्टिनेंस के चांसेस बहुत ज्यादा हो जाते हैं. जो लोग सिडेंटरी लाइफस्टाइल में रहते हैं, कोई एक्टिविटी नहीं है, दे आर ओवरवेट. अगर कोई ओवरवेट है तो उसका वेट ट्रांसमिट होता है थ्रू पेल्विस, और जो पेल्विक मसल्स होते हैं वो ग्रेजुअली वीक हो जाते हैं. सिमिलरली जो सिर्फ यूरिनरी इनकॉन्टिनेंस ऐसा नहीं यूरिन से रिलेटेड है, जिनको क्रोनिक कॉन्स्टिपेशन है, who has to strain a lot to pass stool, उन केसेस में भी पेल्विक फ्लोर मसल्स की ग्रेजुअल वीकनिंग और स्ट्रेनिंग पे, ब्लैडर पे भी उनका इफेक्ट काफी आता है. उसके बाद आता है सर्टेन कंडीशन जिसमें नर्व डैमेज के चांसेस रहते हैं, बिकॉज इंटैक्ट नर्व जरूरी होता है ब्लैडर का सिग्नल ब्रेन तक ले जाने के लिए। बट इफ देयर इज डैमेज नर्व, तो नर्व या तो सिग्नल रॉन्ग टाइम पे, गलत टाइम पे देता है, या एकदम ही नहीं देता है। तो सर्टेन कंडीशन जो हमें सबसे कॉमन हमारे यहाँ डायबिटीज है, मल्टीपल स्क्लेरोसिस है, या कुछ रीढ़ की हड्डियों के अपने लोकल प्रॉब्लम्स होते हैं, जैसे पेल्विक प्रोलैप्स इंटरवर्टिबल डिस्क है, या रीढ़ की हड्डियों में चोट लग गई हो या स्पाइनल सर्जरी हुई हो। उन लोगों में डैमेज नर्व की वजह से इनकॉन्टिनेंस के चांसेस बहुत ज्यादा रहते हैं। फिर कुछ सर्टेन कंडीशंस हैं जिसमें हम लोग दवाइयां लेते हैं जिनके साइड इफेक्ट्स भी हो सकता है। वेरी कॉमन कंडीशन इन साइकेट्रिक पेशेंट, जब हम एंटीसाइकोटिक मेडिसिन लेते हैं और साइकेट्रिक पेशेंट को ये मेडिसिन सालों साल लेनी होती है, उन मेडिसिन का साइड इफेक्ट एंटीकोलिनर्जिक साइड इफेक्ट होता है, जिसके जो ब्लैडर को सिडेट कर देते हैं, सुला देते हैं, तो ब्लैडर के अपना पावर कम हो जाता है। उन लोगों में ड्रग्स के साइड इफेक्ट्स की वजह से इनकॉन्टिनेंस के चांसेस बहुत ज्यादा रहते हैं। फिर कुछ केसेस सर्जरी के हुए, जैसे किसी को पेल्विक में सर्जरी हुई, हिस्टेक्टमी हुई है, या कोई और रेडिकल सर्जरी रेक्टम पे या इस पे, तो सर्जरी की वजह से लोकल मसल्स का डैमेज, वीकनेस होता है, एंड प्लस जो नर्व्स लोकल होते हैं, सेक्रल नर्व्स जो आते हैं, उनका डैमेज होने का चांसेस रहता है, जिससे कि इनकॉन्टिनेंस हो सकता है। कुछ बीमारियां हैं जिसमें ब्लड, जैसे ट्यूबरकुलोसिस हमारे यहाँ बहुत कॉमन है। ट्यूबरकुलोसिस की वजह से ब्लैडर एकदम छोटा हो जाता है, इतना छोटा कि हार्डली 50 ml यूरिन भी हम उसमें रिटेन नहीं कर पाते हैं। तो एवरी 15 मिनट्स 10 मिनट्स पे यूरिन होता है और वो लीक कर जाता है। इसी तरीके से अगर किसी को रेडिएशन थेरेपी पड़ी हो और कैंसर, लाइक ब्लैडर का कैंसर हो, प्रोस्टेट का हो, या सर्विक्स यूट्रस का हो, रेक्टम का हो, अगर रेडिएशन थेरेपी पड़ी है, तो लॉन्ग टर्म में ड्यू टू रेडिएशन थेरेपी ब्लैडर बहुत छोटे हो जाते हैं और उनमें इनकॉन्टिनेंस बहुत ज्यादा होने के चांसेस रहते हैं। तो आई थिंक दीज आर द certain predisposing factors for the incontinence.
Thank you, sir. Thank you, Dr. Amitabh. From what I could make out from your answer is that there are mostly the factors might be unavoidable, but there are certain smaller factors which are avoidable also. Like you were saying, consumption of tea, coffee, alcohol, and very high weight or obesity. So probably there are certain factors which can be controlled to a certain extent, of course. And mostly the other factors are unavoidable or uncontrollable, beyond the control of the individual. So thank you so much, Dr. Amitabh. On that note, I would like to ask Dr. Malviya. Dr. Malviya, sir.
Yeah.
We have been repeatedly coming back to this topic that women are more predisposed, or they have 3 to 4 times more instances of urinary incontinence. Sorry. So I would just, on that point, I would just like to ask one question, which I have also on a personal basis heard from many friends who have given birth to children, or who have gone through the childbirthing process, who have become pregnant, that many of my friends who are pregnant, they used to complain that during that duration, they used to have incontinence. So why exactly? What role does pregnancy play in urinary incontinence, or why does pregnancy cause it? How does it cause urinary incontinence? Pregnancy in particular, sir.
Thank you for a very lovely question. Already I told you that the female has to bear the burden of our population. They have the creator of this bird, they have to bear the children in their womb, and they pay for that. And we are least attentive to their problem. Thing is that also. Actually, what happens whenever the female have the children or have the pregnancy, the main thing is that there is change in their hormonal balance. Some hormones goes up, some hormones coming down, and the hormone has got the negative effect on the pelvic support musculation. There are many pelvic support. They are like fascia, they are some ligaments, all they are stressed. Another thing that we are bearing the burden of the baby. So already we are moving till 9 months, we are moving with a child. Sometimes the weight of the baby becomes 1 kg to 2 kg even, and that you are always carrying. So the stretch of the musculation, we support the urinary bladder, we support the urethra. Already I discussed that the female urethra is very short, only 4 centimeters in length, and straight forward, straight. The female are very straight, so the urethra is also straight. So the problem is that they are not able to hold the urine, which should be without child, because their relaxation of the pelvic support, they have to bear more burden, not attentive to the nutritional facts, not taking care, and which nowadays girls take indulge in smoking and alcohol. So then their big problem is that. So with these reasons, they have got the 40% chance of experiencing this urinary incontinence. It has observed near about 10 female, in 10 female, 4 female are experiencing this problem. And the main thing is that stretching of the pelvic musculature, and with their neglect, they are not taking proper care, they are not taking doing the pelvic exercise. So these are important things, but they are neglected. Even the attendant of their family is misbothered. That is the normal course of a female. This is the normal course. So that is the reason. Yeah.
True, true. In fact, as you are mentioning stretching of the pelvic musculature, even I remember, people, especially females, were asked to do Kegel exercises to strengthen their pelvic muscles. If I'm not wrong, if I can recollect that correctly, that is what they were called. So thank you so much, Dr. Malviya. Thank you so much for that answer. We'll just put our next question, and we'll also need to rush a bit because we also want to take few audience questions at the end of this. So my next question goes to Dr. Rajesh Tiwari. Sir, Dr. Rajesh Tiwari, how does incontinence progress?
If the incontinence is not managed at appropriate time, the problem of incontinence and its severity increases if the cause is not treated.
Right.
For example, take urge incontinence. First, initially it starts with only urgency. And the frequency is once in a week or twice in a week. And patient is or individual, he or she is able to hold the urine, to abort the premature contraction of the bladder. But as the time passes and that is not taken care of, then the frequency and severity increases and they land up in urge incontinence phase, wet incontinence phase, wet over. And the commonest cause is overactive bladder in females. So first they start with dry phase of the overactive bladder, and if not treated in time, they pass on to wet phase of overactive bladder.
Right.
Another, you can take stress incontinence. Okay. Its severity also increases with age, especially post-menopausal females, when pelvic floor muscle strength gradually decreases with time. And again, as mentioned by other speakers, panelists, obesity, diabetes, and lung diseases, if they are present, they make the situation more worse. So if they are not treated and not taken care of in time, their severity and will increase, and even the results get compromised of surgical correction. Initial phase, it is easy. You can manage it conservatively by exercise, by drugs, and if not taken care of in time, they may land up in surgery even. So right. I will request all the viewers who have their near and dear ones suffering from this problem of incontinence, they must consult gynecologist as if she is female or urologist and take care of this problem. Right. Suppose as Dr. Nilesh mentioned, if a child is suffering from incontinence, maybe because of psychological reasons, then he will not be able to attend the school because his peers, his friends, his class teacher, they will not allow her or him to sit in the class, and his studies, academics will suffer. So these right. things must be taken care of in time to avoid other complications or other side effects of this incontinence. Sometimes incontinence may be an alarming or just ringing the bell that some malignancy is sitting in the blood and they have incontinence. Suppose, as mentioned by the patient may have tuberculosis and they may have incontinence. So incontinence may be because of some nervous system diseases such as Parkinson's, multiple sclerosis. Such patients may present with incontinence. So it is why patients must consult the doctors, and it is the duty of doctors to arrive at a proper diagnosis and start the treatment. Right. They must not take it lightly.
So that is why, sir, all said and done, that is why it becomes very imperative to, go in for early treatment and diagnosis
Yes.
and treatment,
Yes.
and
Yes.
catch it, as early as possible. Like I think
Yes.
all other ailments, mostly all other ailments, it applies to every disorder kind of thing. So thank you so much, Dr. Rajesh. My next question is to Dr. Shadab. How is urinary incontinence diagnosed, Dr. Shadab?
Yes, there are two types of workup which we need to do in case of incontinence. First workup is we must categorize the incontinence, as nicely explained by Dr. Rajesh Tiwari sir, that incontinence is of different types. So there are different types of therapies and treatments and medications for different types of incontinence. So our first workup should be to categorize the incontinence. And our second part of the workup is we must diagnose that whether incontinence it is as such or it is a symptom of some underlying serious urological or medical problem. So we must, the first and foremost thing in diagnosis of incontinence is history taking, proper history taking. How much, what are the times at which incontinence occurs, from which time or from which age the incontinence is started, what is the amount of incontinence or what is the amount of urine leakage, whether it is happening in daytime or night time. All these things we must, or has it occurred after some surgery like hysterectomy or prostatectomy, etc., or after some radiation. So all these things are taken care of by history taking. And by proper history taking, we can categorize the incontinence and direct our therapy accordingly. Whether it is urgent incontinence or mixed incontinence or stress incontinence, etc., or whether it is amenable to, it needs some surgical treatment. The other thing is we must rule out any serious underlying medical or surgical cause which is causing the incontinence. So first and most important thing is routine urine and culture examination.
Okay.
We must see the culture of the urine, whether the incontinence because of some urine, we can see whether there is any albumin is coming or not, whether there is sugar coming in the urine or not, because it is said that routine urine examination is a window to your body. By one simple test, routine examination of urine, we can see so many things and diagnose so many things. And the other thing is, apart from routine urine and culture, the next comes we must see whether the incontinence is because of some serious urological problem, like we must get a ultrasound done. By ultrasound, we can see whether there is any stone in the bladder or the prostate is enlarged or even bladder is contracted. We can see the kidneys as well. So we for upper tract and other bladder, we have to get a ultrasound done.
Right.
Next come uroflowmetry. As has been explained by Tiwari sir, that there may be stress incontinence, urge incontinence, or overflow incontinence also. So by ultrasonography, we can see whether what is the post-void residual urine which is remaining in the bladder that may be causing the overflow incontinence. And then by uroflowmetry, we can see what is the flow of the urine, whether the patient is passing flow in a normal way, or there is some obstruction in the flow because of bladder flow obstruction, like urethral stricture or prostate, or in female, we mostly in post-menopausal woman, we see urethral stricture or urethral stenosis. So these are the things which we must get done in a case of urinary incontinence. Another most important thing is the urodynamics test. By urodynamics test, we can categorize different types of incontinence, like whether there is neurological problem or urge incontinence or stress incontinence. These things can be categorized by urodynamics also.
Right.
So these are the simple basic things we must get in a case of urinary incontinence. Then we bring a bladder diary. Bladder diary, how much fluid the patient is taking and at what times he is urinating, when the incontinence is occurring, when the leakage is occurring. All these things we can see by 2 to 3 days bladder diary.
Bladder diary, right. Right.
These are the basic things and basic investigation which are must in a case of urinary incontinence.
Right, sir. Right. Dr. Shadab, thank you for that answer. So basically, what I understood is that there are a number of tools, not only to identify the kind of incontinence, but also to eliminate other possibilities or other
Yeah.
medical conditions.
Yes.
And one must actually go to a specialist to get an idea of what exactly should be done, right? So they would be
Yeah.
the better person to tell you. Right. So
Yeah.
my next question is for Dr. Nitesh. Since we've already talked about the diagnosis part, I would come to the treatment part. Dr. Nitesh, what are the treatment options available for urinary incontinence? And before you answer that, I would just request other doctors to put themselves on mute for a while. And after this, Dr. Nitesh, hopefully we'll take audience questions because we just have 10 more minutes left. So yes, over to you, Dr. Nitesh.
As Dr. Sadaf has already told, that we need to diagnose it first. We need to categorize. We need to take about its severity by bladder diary.
Right.
After we reach to a diagnosis, different types of incontinence has almost starting treatment will be the same. Like from the bladder diary, we get what is your lifestyle, what is your dietary or drinking habits. So we'll modify that. If you are drinking more water, we'll reduce it. If you are taking caffeinated drinks, we'll reduce it. If you are taking too much alcohol, which is banned in Bihar, but still, if you are taking too much alcohol, that should be reduced.
Initial part,
You need to
I'm
reduce your
guessing.
tea and coffee. Yeah.
Right.
You need to reduce your tea and coffee and drinking water time. Sometimes people will go drink water in the morning, whole day it will be dry. Again, they will come back in the evening, have drunk only 1 liter water, they'll drink 2 liters, they will have difficulty at night. So these behavioral modifications needs to be done. After that, they need to do exercises. These are usually for OAB and also for sometimes stress urinary incontinence. For mainly stress urinary incontinence, you need to exercise your pelvic muscles. There's a set of Kegel exercises that one needs to do. That will be told by a urologist or a physiotherapist can also tell you, but you need to learn and identify the specific sets of muscles. एक एकदम करेक्ट टेक्निक आपको सीखनी जरूरी है. हमारे कंट्री में तो नहीं, मगर बाहर outside countries have a biofeedback mechanism from which they can identify that you are contracting proper muscles or not. There is a regimen, you need to do some types of exercises. So Kegels exercises are also important for stress urinary incontinence. And after that, these behavioral modifications, if you are not getting corrected, you need more help, then there are some drugs. There are some drugs for stress urinary incontinence. There are some drugs for mixed urinary incontinence. And according to the response and seeing the response in your bladder diary, your urologist will escalate or de-escalate the dose and do whatever is needed.
Right.
Some drugs also stabilize the bladder muscle. Some will relax it. Some will relax your outflow so that you might not get obstructed and bladder is not retained in the urine is not retained in the bladder and it gets emptied.
So it's a, I'm sorry
Yeah,
to interrupt, but it's absolutely a case-to-case basis. I mean, between the specialist
it's
and the
absolutely a
patient.
case-to-case basis. Yeah.
Yeah.
A treatment is like that your bladder diary will tell you kundali that kaisa hai, aapko kya specific treatment chahiye, and every person's treatment needs to be individualized. Some
Right.
patients who are having too much urine in the bladder, they cannot empty it. The cases of neurogenic bladder, they will need to empty their urine by themselves by putting a small tube into urethra, through the urethra into bladder and taking the urine out at intermittent times. And for other diseases like rare things, surgical causes or medical diseases, these needs to be taken care as and when required or as the diagnosis proceeds. Such as neurological disease will require neurological kind of treatment. The surgical diseases like ectopic ureter or the iatrogenic complications of vesicovaginal fistula or retrovaginal fistula that happens after surgery will require surgical correction. Sometimes the after prostate surgery also requires correction. There are slings for stress urinary incontinence for females and males as well. There are artificial sphincters also available. So there's a channel and there's a hierarchy. You need to go step by step. So always urinary incontinence treatment is step ladder wise. We'll start from the basic step, and if you're not getting relief, we'll go higher up.
Right. Thank you. Thank you so much, Dr. Nitesh. Actually, I think you've covered almost everything, starting right from behavioral modification to medication to surgery or implants. Absolutely. So it is absolutely an individual thing, case to case. It will need to be done between the specialist and the patient, is what is the crux of this whole answer. Thank you so much, Dr. Nitesh. I think we should, I have a lot of more questions to ask, in fact, but then since we only have 8-10 minutes to go, I would like to move on to audience questions, because I can see a lot of audience questions coming in. So if that is okay with all all of you specialists, then can we move on? Because audience are
Yeah,
eager
yeah.
to ask you questions, it seems.
Yeah.
Okay, thank you, sir. And please feel free to answer. And just this is a humble request, just keep the answer short, because I see a lot of questions here. So the first question is continence a normal part of aging? Can we do anything such as physical exercise to keep our muscles and systems firm? Which has been answered, but if someone can just give a crisp answer to that. Any one of you? Who would like to answer?
And I can call.
Yeah. Sorry, Dr. Nitesh?
No, you can call names, because everybody will get confused. You can just call out anyone.
So I would suggest that all of you keep yourself on mute, and whoever wants to answer can just unmute themselves and give the answer. That would always be better. Sir, Dr. Amitabh, you were saying something. Is continence a normal part of aging?
No, it's a big myth that incontinence is a part of aging process. No, with the aging process, obviously the muscles gets weakening and there is menopause and all things, but they don't lead to incontinence as per se. You have to just be active, do your exercises, daily routine, and maintain your daily day-to-day activities and normal nutritional practice and all. This will prevent your incontinence.
Right. Thank you, Dr. Amitabh. The next question is, how does incontinence relate to diet? For instance, does a spicy diet aggravate incontinence? If any one of you want to answer, please.
A spicy diet is not irritates everybody's bladder, but yes, some individuals bladder get irritated by very spicy foods. So if such individuals, if they can identify that their symptoms are related to the intake of spicy foods, so they must avoid it. Or if they are taking it, they must take plenty of water to dilute the concentration of these spices, so that they must not have urgency and frequency and urgent incontinence.
Right. So it's more about how your body reacts to certain spices. You should be aware of that and take precautionary measures likewise. Right. So my next question is, would yoga and pranayam work in the case of incontinence? Would yoga and pranayam that work with human organs and muscles be of help in incontinence? Would meditation help calm anxiety? So anyone who wants to answer among you, please. So this is more about alternate therapy, yoga, pranayam, and meditation. How much does that help in the case of incontinence?
Definitely, yoga and pranayam and meditation will work, because it will not treat you or cure you, but it will decrease your anxiety level. Sometimes some neurogenic bladder or overactive bladder, this bladder neck obstruction are caused by high anxiety levels. In those patients, there will be the internal sphincter, as sir said, there are two sphincters, the internal sphincter will be closed. And these things will help you relax your muscles and get them in synchronized manner. So it will be of some help, but it all depends on case-to-case basis. But definitely, it will help.
Okay, thank you. Thank you so much, Dr. Nitesh, for that. My next question is, does the intake of sugar and stimulants like tea, coffee impact the urinary system, which we have answered. But if any one of you want to answer that again, sugary drinks basically, does it have an impact on the urinary system? Any one of you, please?
So tea and coffee can definitely increase it. It has got a diuretic effect as well as irritant to the bladder. So anybody who is having symptoms of urgency, urgent incontinence, frequency, they must regulate their caffeine intake. Drinks like tea, coffee, and sugar, which a normal person takes. I do not think that that is a cause of urinary symptoms.
Right. Thank you, sir. Thank you, Dr. Rajesh. We'll move on to the next question. I am fine the whole day, but at night I find I need to get up frequently to urinate. What can be the reason for this difference?
Age, please, age.
They've not written.
Male, female.
Nothing has been written. So there's this one person who is fine the whole day, but during the night they get up for frequent urination. So I am assuming it can depend on a lot of factors, sir, as Dr. Rajesh, you are asking.
Yes,
right?
To give a correct advice, you must have a full information.
Absolutely, sir. So maybe we can skip over this.
The only advice is if his symptoms are bothering him or her, he or she must consult a urologist.
Right.
That is an indication for consultation.
And only then can he get or he get, a proper this thing based on
Proper
their
advice,
medical history. And yes, absolutely true, very true. We can't be prescriptive in nature here. So there's one more question. I drink less water out of fear that I will need to urinate when I go outside. That dehydrates my body. I feel helpless about the situation. What should I do?
Just
the thing is, in India, I wanted to tell this about in the last, but because this question has arisen, I would like to tell it now.
Yes,
many females, especially females, and in India, if you go out, you do not have any proper bathrooms to pee. Even males, they can do it anyway, but educated ones are not comfortable. Even we are not comfortable to pee outside. We need to go to shopping malls or someone. Even many people are even ashamed of going to shopping malls for just evacuating their bladder. And females finding a place to pee or to empty their bladder is very much difficult. So either they do what they do, they drink less water and they dehydrate themselves, or they do is they will hold on the urine. This habit is also very much detrimental. And it goes on adding. It acts like your bladder outlet is obstructed. You are having an obstructed flow, and it will lead to overactive bladder or some neurogenic symptoms. So it's a request from my behalf to Times of India and all the viewers and to whoever who can make a difference, that there's a need of public toilets in India at this scenario if we have to tackle this incontinence and these symptoms.
Very true. That is a very broad outlook and very much needed, because we must have a public toilets, access to clean public toilets for all, in fact. So thank you, Dr. Nitesh, for saying that. That is a social angle which will eventually make the medical angle much better, I believe. Thank you, Dr. Nitesh. So with that, we've come to the closure of this session. We'll wind up this session now. It has been 1 hour of very interesting, very informative, and absolutely for me and as well for the audience, I am assuming it is a very informative session. This Times of India World Continence Week webinar was in association with MSN Laboratories, and I would like to thank them, as well as the absolutely great audience that we've had, who've been constantly asking questions. I hope all of you who are watching this, you've learned as much from this session as much as I have learned. I would like to thank all my panelists here, Dr. Malviya, Dr. Amitabh, Dr. Rajesh, Dr. Shadab, and Dr. Nitesh for their insightful take on all the questions and giving us so much of new information on a very common thing. And with that, I hope it will also remove the stigma attached with this a bit. I'll take your leave now. With that, I'll just like to say a last thank you. Thank you so much. Thank you.
Thanks.
Thank you.
Thank you.